Okay, so right now what I want to do is I want to talk about one of the most important things when it comes to CPA that a lot of people don't talk about, but this is going to be kind of like the make or break as to whether you can actually run CPA successfully or not. And the big thing that nobody talks about, but literally would be one of the defining factors as to whether you can do $100 per day, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars per day, is not really just a campaign, but it comes down to this. I'll call it CF. Any guesses?
Cashflow.
Yeah.
Oh.
The hell, you should be on one of those game shows. So yeah, cash. I wrote 2 letters. This girl knew exactly. No. But yeah, cash flow. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. This is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to hold your campaign. It's going to be one of the biggest headaches to deal with, especially once you start having profitable campaigns. Now, the reason I say that is, let's say, for example, if you have a campaign where every single $1 that you're putting in is turning into $2, but you've only got $1,000, right, to invest into your campaigns. What's going to happen is, yes, you're turning $1 into $2, okay, but you have a cap. The maximum that you can pretty much do with the cash that you have, especially if you're waiting for payouts, because I don't know if you guys remember in the other videos, but I'll quickly recap this, is that if we generate $1,000 a week on our network, you get paid weekly net 7. Now, weekly net 7 basically means that if you generate any type of income, okay, that is in excess of $1,000 between Monday to Sunday, within any week, so let's put Monday to Sunday. So even if you generated $1,000, right, all on Sunday, or if you generated $1,000 all on Wednesday, okay? Even if you generated $300 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, so you generated $1,200 for that week. If you generate $1,000 within this week, so 1K, you get paid 7 days after, right, that Sunday. Make sense?
Yeah.
So 7 days. And that's what net 7 means. So let's put net 7. And the reason that we do this is a couple of reasons. I mean, it's good business practice as well to make sure that we can monitor your leads and to make sure that all the trials or sales they send are not fraudulent. Because some people do send a lot of rubbish traffic, or they don't follow the terms of service of the offer. So that we want to make sure we have that period of time just to make sure that we're not allowing a lot of fraud on the network. But basically, I mean, for you guys, it's good because you can reinvest your cash flow quickly, okay, relatively quickly. But this is the thing. Let's say, for example, you have $1,000 to invest, okay? So you've got 1K, mark that you're trying to hit. Even if you have $2,000 they've generated in the first week, okay, by turning $1 into $2, the second week you got nothing. And you have to remember it's net 7, so it's 7 days after the first week, okay, that's when you get paid. So what's going to happen is you're going to essentially run out of cash. And you don't want to run out of cash and have a profitable campaign, because I can guarantee you what's going to happen is an affiliate like myself, we might be nosy and find out what you're doing, and literally we might run it ourselves. Literally. So if we run it ourselves, by the time you get your cash back, we could have completely optimized the spot, outbidded you, just bought the whole position ourselves, bought the whole spot ourselves, and we could have done so much madness to the campaign that it won't even work out for you. So you need to make sure that you have enough cash to sustain your campaigns and can grow your campaigns, because if your whole goal is to create a scenario like this, where you put $1 into your campaigns for advertising and you get more than $1 back in revenue. And if you can do that, you're printing money, okay? You become the legal Federal Reserve. You can literally print money from your laptop. And that's a fantastic feeling to know that no matter if you work or not, you're gonna continue to make money. It's a fantastic feeling, okay? You could be sleeping making money. You could be like doing whatever you're doing and you can be making money. So I want you guys to definitely get to this point. But I don't want you to have to hold that for the fact that you run out of cash. That's a horrible feeling. And I've been through it. So what we've put in place for you guys is something called the funding program. And I didn't have this when I was starting off. I had to get bank loans, I had to wait for payouts, I had to go through the turmoil of realizing that people were stealing my campaigns while trying to figure out cash flow. But basically what we're going to be doing for the VIP members is if you have a situation where you're running out of cash, but you've created a campaign that's profitable within our requirements, then we'll actually fund the campaign for you. So we'll use our money to fund you guys' campaign, and we'll just do a small profit split. So you guys are still going to be able to scale things up, and then we're going to help you take things from maybe hundreds of dollars a day, right, $1,000 a day, to be able to do multiple thousands of dollars per day, right, with our money, so we'll be taking on the risk for you guys. And we'll just do a small profit split where you guys are going to get the profit, and we're going to get a little bit of profit as well, just to make sure it's a fair, even field. And again, you want us to be incentivized as well to make sure we're not just doing some foolishness and stealing your campaigns, okay? So we have the funding program for you. That's going to eliminate all your cash flow worries. Now, the second thing is, if you guys are not a VIP member and you guys are crazy for not joining the VIP program, then what I recommend for you guys is to leverage OPM. And OPM, and big disclaimer actually before I start this, everything I'm going to discuss is going to be based on what I've done, okay? I'm not going to put out there that you have to follow this advice. I'm not a financial expert in any way, shape or form. And definitely when it comes to cash and when it comes to dealing with credit or dealing with finances or anything like that, make sure you guys seek competent advice, okay? I'm not a financial, I do not take any responsibility for what you guys do. I'm going to basically explain to you what I do, right, that help myself, okay? So what OPM basically means is it's going to be other people's money. I'm not going to write that down, but other people's money. And the reason that I would recommend, the reason that I thought about this and I was getting recommendations for this, right, when I was really starting off, is because let me ask you guys a question. What's faster, making $1 million or borrowing $1 million?
Borrowing.
Exactly. Borrowing $1 million, if you have good enough credit and if you have good enough track record, you can get $1 million literally by signing a few papers at the bank. But if you wanted to make $1 million, especially from scratch, it's going to take some time, no matter who you are, unless you win the lottery. So the fastest thing that I was able to do, personally, is I use credit, lines of credit, to basically fund my CPA campaigns. And the reason I did that was for this specific reason. I don't know if I'm going to have enough space here. Okay, I'm going to do it right here. Now, what I was able to do is I was able to utilize something called an interest-free period on a credit card. And I ran this all through my personal business as well, because my personal credit wasn't too great, but my business credit kind of was, right? Like I didn't really have too many bad or negative things that were impacting my business credit. So what I did is I got a credit card, right? Had a small limit. And I realized that with a credit card, you have well, at least in my case, when I was using my credit card, I had a 21-day, 0% interest-free period. And for those of you who don't know exactly what that means, the way I took it was I have 21 days to pay off the balance for that credit card, and if I can do that, I don't have to pay any interest on it. And I was like, let me think about this. If I have $5,000 on a credit card, okay, and I pay off within 21 days, I normally get paid essentially every 14 days, okay, because if I generate traffic from Monday to Sunday, that's 7 days. And I'm going to get paid 7 days after, so pretty much 14 days, right? So I was like, hold on, I don't have enough money myself to do this, but I have a credit card, or I have a credit, and I have a 21-day period. I'm going to get paid from the network, especially if I can do 1K a week. I'm going to get paid from the network every 14 days, and all I have to do is pay this off within 21 days. So I can use all of this money within credit to basically fund my campaigns. And never actually, it's pretty much like free money, right, that I saw in my eyes, because I didn't have to pay anything for that money. They gave me a credit card that I could spend $3,000, $5,000 of advertising on, and I won't have to pay anything additional on that $3,000 to $5,000, and I can pretty much keep all the money that I was making on my CPA campaign. So this is what was happening. I spent $3K on advertising within the first week, okay? I got back from the CPA network, let's say for example, 4K. I then paid off, right, but before the 21st day, through an automatic direct debit. So this 4K came to my bank account. This was bank, account, and this was the traffic source. Put TS, traffic source. So I paid 3K on the traffic source, I had 4K coming from the CPA network come to my bank account, and all I had to do was pay 3K, right, back to credit card from this 4K, okay? This was credit card, so let's put CC. So I then realized I could then make a nice little 1K profit on top
in a week
without even using my own money.
and then also reuse the credit card.
Exactly, and also reuse the credit card. So now I have the 3K still, plus this additional 1K, okay? That I was putting back into strippers. No, I'm joking, I don't do none of that craziness. But yeah, I was putting all of that 3K and the 1K, all the profits I was making, directly back into the traffic source. And it was literally happening like this. I was like, oh my days, so I'm gonna get 4K now, and I have to turn that 4K into, let's say 5K, right, just for easy math, okay? And I have to pay back just 3K, okay, because that's my credit card limit.
Yeah.
I was not paying 3K, so I'm left with a 2K profit, okay? So, and I did it again, one more time. So I spent the whole, what was it? 5K, right? I made 6K. The next thing you know, I paid back 3K, and I was left with a 3K profit. So literally, out of thin air, by doing this a few times, I just doubled up on my credit card limit, right? And I had actually that cash in my bank. So I was like, whoa, okay, that's kind of nice. But what was happening is, I was also developing my skill when it came to CPA, okay? So I was able to turn that 3K, instead of just 4K, I was able to turn that 3K into 5K, then 3K into 6K. But that was never my money I was starting off with. I was always using other people's money, okay? Then I started doing some craziness. I started asking my girl, right, to be able to borrow some money sometimes. I started to ask, like, it was just going crazy. I was like, you know what, this is kind of nice, because now the risk is very, very minimal, because I'm using other people's money, I'm making money on that money, okay? And also, it's pretty much interest-free, and I'm making way more money than the interest. So even loans, I didn't really care about loans, because I was like, okay, cool. Let's say, for example, we got a loan for 10K. It's a 10K. And let's say, for example, you see one of these payday like loans, like we have it in UK, like Amigo loans, okay? And they charge something like 49.8% like interest. So let's say, for example, you have to pay like 15K. A lot of people, they're like, that's high, okay? And I understand that's high, okay? You can definitely get way better rates in terms of interest and whatnot. But when I come to think about it, I'm like, okay, I have to pay the 15K in 60 months, okay? So 60 months is how long? Maybe about
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
So let's put 5 years on top.
60 months.
Wait, 16 or 60?
60.
Yeah.
5 years. That's when they ask for their money back. So I was really thinking about, I was like, imagine if I had 10K right now, right? In 5 years, if I could create a CPA campaign, just one CPA campaign that's profitable, imagine how many times I could create this scenario. So I could literally make this money back. I could turn 10K in 5 years? What? I could turn 10K into 15K in the first week, second week, then turn that 10K into 20K, then 30K, then 40K, 50K, and keep flipping it. So I mean, I've done it, right? Where within like a couple months, I turned 10K, right, of other people's money into 100K, and then literally paid off the 15K. So I'm left with a 85K profit, right, from the initial thing that a lot of people are too scared to do. Because a lot of people, they're just in the mentality that it's bad to use debt, it's bad to use loans, it's bad to use other people's money. But wealthy people, they understand this. And this is kind of, shout out to Robert Kiyosaki, right, for all this information, because he used it in real estate terms. I kind of moved it to CPA terms. And this is where I was able to really, and I mean, a lot of guys, they ask me, how the hell did I start off with less than £100 to my name and be able to generate over $1 million with CPA? And the reason why I was able to do that is because I was part of the VIP program. No, I'm joking, but the reason why I was able to do that is because I literally used other people's money, okay? I didn't use my own £100, okay? And that's one of the worst things that you guys can do. If you guys have, let's say, less than £1,000 or $1,000 to your name, I would actually recommend trying to leverage that, right, and get credit, which you can often do, right, if you can prove to the bank that you have that kind of money. And the second thing as well is use that information for learning, because learning is, the information is going to create this situation. Okay, write that down because that's so powerful. The information is going to create a situation. But literally, you guys might have the budget, but if you don't have the knowledge of how to create this kind of system, then it's going to be worthless. Then it's going to still be hard. You won't be able to become successful. That's why you guys, if I was starting off, I'll probably invest as much money as possible that I have personally into my mind and try and get as much credit as possible, and try and just even sell my stuff, or just try and do whatever I can do to raise as much cash as possible, and literally just try and create this scenario. You spend 3K, get 4K back before you have to pay the interest, and then pay back the just make sure you always pay it back. That's one thing you guys have to make sure you do, or else it could really, really mess up your credit, okay? And I had a direct debit that automatically went out from my bank, and then just take the profit. And if you guys can do this, you guys won't have the cash flow situation too badly, okay? Question?
So how did you prove to the bank that you'll be able to pay back that credit card that they gave you?
Good question, okay? Question was, how was I able to prove to the bank? Okay, there's two responses. There's legal way and the illegal way. I'm joking. I'm joking. Now, what I had to do is I had to make sure that all of my direct debits with my business account, right, and even my personal stuff, they always got paid. I don't want to have a default. I don't want to have a late payment. And what happens is, I think you can actually get a secured line of credit, right? Which basically means if you have $100 or £100, you can basically give that to the bank. And pretty much they kind of freeze it. And they give you credit for that amount, okay? So instead of using a debit card, you can get a credit card, okay, with that specific amount. They've just given to the bank, okay? It sounds so weird, and it sounds so illogical, but you'll basically give the bank your £100 or £500, they freeze it, okay, and they provide it to you on credit. Now what happens is you can use that. I'm not too sure if it's called a secured credit card or unsecured credit card, but Google it and you can easily find it. And you can basically start purchasing, right, stuff using that credit. But what is so crazy is you now have to pay that amount that you're purchasing back, okay? But what happens is if you can't get an unsecured amount, right, using a secured credit or a secured line of credit, you can start to build up credit, okay? Because they effectively give you credit and use your money as collateral, which is basically using the money that you have to show to the bank that I have this money, okay? So if balls go up to the wall, they can always take that money back. And they basically just provide you with a credit card that you can use, they can use to start building up credit again, okay? And as long as you make your payments back, you can start to increase, right, that credit limit, okay? And as soon get an unsecured line of credit. And if you can do that over a period of time, right, make sure that any kind of loans that you have, you're making like the payments back and stuff like that, you can start to improve your credit score. There's even some CPA networks, CPA offers that are for credit and stuff like that, so I might send you some if you want to check your credit. But yeah, you definitely want to improve your credit score and whatnot and make sure that it's as good as possible, and then your bank will start loaning you the $1,000 credit cards, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, and then the black cards, right, we can have unlimited spend effectively.
Okay, so what if you want to start CPA, but you already have bad credit?
Very, very good question. And the question was, what would you do if you wanted to start CPA and you already have bad credit? I would do one or two things, okay? I would definitely try and see if you can borrow money from friends, family, relatives and whatnot, sell your stuff, and see if you can just try and build up some initial cash flow. Then I'll join the VIP program, right, and use the funding program, okay? Because as you're building credit, we'll fund your campaigns for you. And if you're, let's say for example, if your bank is seeing that you have a high amount of revenue coming in, okay, they're gonna be less worried because the bank is in the business, right, to basically make money and to basically see your track records, okay? So if they can see on your account statements, they having so much money coming in, right, wires coming in every single week, right, that's gonna put more stability in their mind. So if you can use the funding program to scale your campaigns while you're building credit, then eventually what's going to happen is you can start using the secure lines of credit and the unsecured lines of credit to build up your own personal credit and start running your campaigns on credit cards. Also, another thing, you can actually get cash-back credit cards, okay? And usually these cash-back credit cards, they'll give you like 0.5% to 1%, like 1% or 0.5% back in cash on what you spend, okay? So this is where it becomes very, very cool. Or you can get air miles as well with like American Express and these other kind of credit cards. Just Google it, just like cashback rewards cards. Now this is where it becomes really, really cool. Because let's say, for example, you break even on all your campaigns. You'll still be making money, right, on this, around cashback. And it might sound insignificant, right, to get 1% cashback. But let's say, for example, if you're scaling up your campaigns and you're testing a lot and you're spending $100,000 per month, which is very, very easy to do, believe me. If you spend $100,000 per month and you get a 1 to 2% cashback, that's often enough to pay your rent or your car note or your mortgage or your insurance, like whatever it is. Okay, so even if it sounds insignificant, these kind of things do add up, especially once you get bigger in the game, because 1% of $100,000 a month, okay, they get an extra, another $12,000 a year they get an extra just by spending money, literally on a credit card. So that's another thing that you can do, and one of the other things that you can do is with some specific, I'm going to get into this maybe in a later like module, but with some specific traffic networks, they will extend you a line of credit, which means that what can happen is if you developed a good relationship with them, they will actually front you some money, right, to spend on their network. So what could happen is, let's say for example, you're running a lot of advertising with them, and you don't have credit yourself, they can actually front you and say, look, let me give you 10K worth of ad spend, but just pay you back 60 days later. Okay? So that 10K that they're giving you, you can pretty much use on advertising. Okay? And you can pretty much flip that into 20, 30K, 50K, 60K within that 60 days. And you just pay them back the 10K.
Wow.
You just make an extra 50, 60, whatever it is. Okay? And some networks that would like to do that. Okay? Some networks will fly you out and give you gifts and all this kind of stuff if you spend a lot of money with them. So there has been situations where you can also have that open up to you.
Does A1 Revenue do that lending process?
Good question. Question was, does A1 Revenue provide people with upfront cash? In some essence, and in some ways, we do with the funding program. What basically happens with the funding program is we then pretty much front you the cash, right, for this specific campaign. And we pretty much use that cash, okay, for campaign scenarios like this, where we know we're going to be able to get the money back, okay, and then we pay you profit on top. So we pretty much can, I mean, it isn't even a situation if you guys need to have 10, 20, 50K, 100K to invest into a CPA campaign that's really scalable, we can be that person for you, okay? But that's only available to the VIP members. Yeah. Okay? Any other questions?
No.
Fantastic. So again, just as a recap, cash flow is going to be one of the biggest issues that could ultimately halt your campaigns, even if they are profitable. You don't want to create a $1 to $2 scenario but not be able to continue to fund it, right? So what I actually did for myself, I can't recommend it for you guys because I'm not a financial advisor. But what I did myself is I used a 21-day free, 21-day 0% interest-free credit card. I created a scenario while spending 3K, for example, on a credit card on traffic. I made 4K in revenue, okay? And then this went straight to my bank account. I paid a 3K off through a direct debit before the 21 days where I was going to get charged interest. And I made 1K profit on top, okay? And I kept that cycle happening using other people's money. And literally, I was able to keep building my cash reserves where I was able to have 1K in the bank, then 5K in the bank, then 10K in the bank. And then eventually just kept going up and up from there. And literally, if you can create like the scenarios where you can leverage other people's money, even if, like sometimes a lot of people, they get scared about the high APR or the high amount they have to pay back. But you have to understand that imagine what amount of money you can turn that money into in those 5 years. Okay, so even if I had 10K to 20K that I had to pay back, okay, I got 10K loan and I had to pay 20K in 5 years. 5 years, I could turn that 10K into $1 million. Okay, and that's honestly real because literally CPA doesn't care about your experience, your age, your ethnicity. Because I mean, tell you the truth, let's just be real, right? I'm young and I'm of color, and typically
you're black.
I'm black. So basically, young black people, we are not really the wealthiest demographic, right? Just to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm still making way more money personally, right, than a lot of people that are way older than me, okay? And they might be in a more privileged position because I have no credential, I have no university degree, right? CPA doesn't care about that. They don't care about your ethnicity, they care about this, money in, money out, and just cares, that's all comes from information and knowledge. So guys, if you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, I feel like you guys have got a very good understanding about cash flow. Okay. So again, main thing I'll say is if you guys are a VIP member, take advantage of the funding program, and just watch the funding video, and it'll just tell you all the details and requirements for that. Okay. So I'm gonna see you guys on the next video.